and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But
Floyd Mayweather has stirred things up again, this time challenging Terence Crawford to ditch his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez and face him instead. Mayweather says it would be just an exhibition match. However, it seems he may not realize that such a fight wouldn't add anything to Crawford's already impressive boxing career. It wouldn't bring him closer to the Hall of Fame either. At most, it could offer Crawford an easy way to make some money, but it wouldn't do much for his legacy.
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he, and Floyd,
He's up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that type.
For some reason, Floyd Mayweather believes that a fight between him and Terence Crawford will make more money than a matchup between Crawford and Canelo. Floyd's main goal here seems to be settling the debate once and for all about who's the better fighter between him and Crawford. Crawford is often seen as the closest competitor to Mayweather in terms of boxing record, which has sparked plenty of discussions about who deserves the title of the greatest of all time. While this fight could happen eventually, it might be too soon. Crawford is still active in his career, aiming for greatness, and the super middleweight champion has worked hard to secure his fight with Canelo. It seems unlikely he'd let that opportunity slip away so easily.
Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting.
Yeah.
I never looked at him like.
Boxing fans have often compared Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, but Crawford has always been careful not to take away any of the credit Mayweather deserves for his undefeated 50-0 record. Crawford has a lot of respect for Mayweather, and when asked about the similarities, he took the opportunity to praise Floyd. He acknowledged Mayweather's greatness and even called him the king of the sport.
Hit, not get hit, to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, it's
the pound for pound top fighter in boxing right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I just truly believe he doesn't have to be under my company for me to give a guy props. I'm not like that. You know, if he's ever free.
Crawford went on to explain that while he and Mayweather have a lot in common, they're also a bit different. He pointed out that he's taken more risks early in his career, which he feels sets him apart. Crawford also made an interesting distinction between the two versions of Mayweather: the earlier pretty boy Floyd, who was known for his aggressive knockout style, and the later Floyd, who dealt with hand injuries and couldn't maintain the same power as he moved up to fight bigger opponents.
I think, you know, I take more chances, you know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know.
As Crawford mentioned, he and Mayweather share a lot in common, but boxing fans often debate who the better fighter is. In a recent comparison, one source even named Crawford as the likely winner in a potential matchup between the two. However, when it comes to pure boxing skill, it's hard to argue that anyone has delivered more masterful displays of the sweet science than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy
Free, and he want to go to any company. If he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free. Because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level. Because with Jim saying raw talent, hell of a fighter. But there's a lot of hell of a fighters out there.
Mayweather's crisp jab, precise timing, and exceptional counter-punching skills allowed him to break down a long list of opponents. He showcased these abilities across two different phases of his career, adapting and excelling in each.
A reach from the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the Gomez here at the engine.
As Crawford pointed out, Pretty Boy Floyd was a more aggressive fighter, always pushing the action and going after his opponents. On the other hand, Money Mayweather, years later, was known for his smart, calculated approach, outpointing opponents with his brilliant boxing. No matter which style you prefer, both versions of Floyd played a part in building his legendary career. Meanwhile, boxing fans are still in awe of what Crawford did to Errol Spence in their last fight, further solidify his own place among the sport's greats.
Very home.
Defensive work.
Canelo Whitaker.
Chin.
Crawford's performance against Spence was a masterclass in boxing. Whether it was his power jab cutting through Spence's guard or his impeccable timing with counter punches, Crawford showcased top-tier boxing skills. Skills we've seen before, but never quite like that against a fighter of Spence's caliber. When it comes to pure boxing ability, it's hard to argue that anyone should be favored over Mayweather. But Crawford's style is different, more dynamic, even explosive in its own way. So, how would a fight between a prime Mayweather and Crawford play out? It would be fascinating to see who established the jab first, Mayweather's disciplined defensive jab or Crawford's sharp, laser-like jab. And when it comes to counterpunching, both fighters are exceptional. So it would be a battle to see who could outsmart the other. Crawford's unpredictability could pose a challenge to Mayweather's impeccable defense, but Floyd's precision and ability to adapt would make it a strategic chess match. The real question is who would control the pace and capitalize on their opponent's mistakes.
Footwork.
There's so many ways this matchup could unfold that it might be best called a draw. We've all seen Mayweather lull his opponents into his rhythm, drawing them into the middle of the ring where he would calmly analyze and break down their moves, using his ring IQ to pick them apart. Mayweather made the hit and not get hit mantra his own, which ultimately earned him a spot in the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion. Crawford, on the other hand, has proven his own high ring IQ. His journey to becoming undisputed at both junior welterweight and welterweight shows he has a similar mastery of the craft. While Mayweather's hand speed, especially when counterpunching, was legendary, Crawford's ability to attack from multiple angles with quick, whip-like punches might give him the edge in speed. Crawford's versatility and explosive style could offer a fresh challenge that Mayweather didn't always face, making this matchup an incredibly intriguing clash of two highly intelligent and skilled fighters.
IQ.
Floyd Mayweather.
Legacy.
It's many. It's more than one.
Out of Mayweather's 50 wins, 27 came by knockout, while Crawford has 40 wins, with 31 by knockout, and he's still going strong. Crawford's performance against Spence is a perfect example of his power and skill. He dropped Spence 3 times and dominated the fight, ending it with a 9th-round TKO. To dismantle a power-punching, body-snatching fighter like Spence, who had broken down other top fighters like Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Dennis Eubanks on his way to becoming a unified welterweight champion, was no easy feat, yet Crawford made it look almost effortless, and his power played a huge role in that. Mayweather, on the other hand, was a master of defensive boxing, famously using the Philly shell to absorb shots while raising his shoulder and keeping his arm in position to defend. He'd use his free hand to pick his punches, turning defense into an art form. His counterpunching was second to none, making it a defensive strategy that also punishes opponents when they left openings. Both fighters have their own unique ways of controlling the fight, making a matchup between them a fascinating clash of style.
Look at this, Spence. Unbelievable. You young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. You're wearing, then he's nowhere. You think you... And again, it's not just hand quick.
Crawford is known for his solid defense, but Mayweather took defensive boxing to a whole new level of almost flawless technique. So, how would a fight between a prime Crawford and a prime Mayweather play out? And who would come out on top? After a close first round where both fighters are sizing each other up, Crawford would likely be the more active and aggressive one early on. He'd throw punches, landing some of them even though Mayweather would block a lot with his shoulder and elbow. As the fight progresses into the middle rounds, Mayweather's style would start to take over. He'd use his sharp jabs, control the pace, and score points. slowly gaining advantage in winning key rounds.
It's the movement of the head, the way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Through a series of punches, and nothing really landed. Terrific fight for Mayweather. Oh!
Despite Mayweather's defensive skills, Crawford's relentless pressure and powerful punches could eventually break through. His speed and sharp shots might even land hard enough to hurt Mayweather at times. This would make the fight incredibly close, but Crawford's constant attack, combined with his high punch volume, could be enough to sway the judges in his favor. His ability to stay on the offensive and wear down Mayweather could earn him a points win, even against a legend's defensive mastery.
Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo? Fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo. What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic, it makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight.
Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has shown interest in facing Canelo Alvarez, the current super middleweight champion. However, the weight difference between the two presents a major challenge for Crawford, as he would need to move up in weight to compete at Canelo's level.
Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 and meet him. That's crazy.
Former heavyweight champion Ron Jr. shared his thoughts on a potential matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While he praised Crawford's incredible talent and skill, he leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. Ron highlighted Canelo's powerful punching ability as a key factor that could make the difference in the fight.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight, or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boots? Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him.
Ron Jr.'s analysis emphasizes that Crawford would need to find a way to counter Canelo's powerful punches to have a shot at winning. If Crawford can rely on his technical boxing skills and avoid getting caught by Canelo's heavy shots, he might just pull off an incredible upset. While a potential fight between Canelo and Crawford excites fans, Canelo is currently focused on training for his next fight.
The guys around him prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 and meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I can go. I'm done.
And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove he's the best.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup of the new world order, where you got fighters that's really 54 at best.
William Skull has recently been mentioned as a potential opponent for Canelo Alvarez, but this wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr., the Hall of Fame boxer, now a promoter, trainer, and respected analyst, had previously predicted that both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez would defeat Alvarez. However, he later revised his own prediction, going against what he initially thought.
Crawford, I'm not sure about that, because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's no big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I probably would rather see
David Benavidez, the two-time 168-pound champion, has been pushing for a fight with Canelo Alvarez for the past 2 years. On the other hand, Terence Crawford, once considered the best welterweight in the world, is open to moving up 2 weight classes for a chance to face the Mexican star. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez believes that a win against Crawford wouldn't add much to his legacy, even though many fans and experts are giving Crawford a real shot at winning.
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. And if he does good against Charlo with the weight, let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now. I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he's gonna be dominant at 54. You understand?
That fight will go Crawford and
Crawford won a pound best fighter fight.
to take on a Canelo who can actually fight a cruiserweight and maybe give a cruiserweight, especially at this moment, all the hell they can want. If you can't hurt a guy like Canelo, and you don't have height and depth to be able to at least have something to work with, then we're going to see another, what they say, boring fight, not say a smart fight.
Roy Jones Jr., a 4-division title holder who moved between weight classes during the later part of his career, believes that Canelo Alvarez should focus on continuing his career at super middleweight. Jones suggests that Alvarez should stay in this weight class and not move up or down further.
Being that you're obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Heard it.
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here
Canelo.
first?
You understand? Yeah.
Last year, Canelo Alvarez fought on September 14th, around the time of Mexican Independence Day, and it's expected that his annual September fight will take place on September 13th this year. Reports say that the Mexican champion has already booked the T-Mobile Arena for that date, where he's set to face Terence "Bud" Crawford. This would be just about a year after his fight against Edgar Berlanga at the same venue, a match that coincided with a UFC event.
You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Canelo Alvarez is rumored to be facing Terence Crawford in a highly anticipated super fight later in 2025. Both Canelo and Crawford are considered two of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, making a showdown between them a must-watch event. While Canelo is getting older, age hasn't slowed his momentum or his position as the face of boxing. However, boxing fans have been critical of his recent opponents, with many believing he's avoiding top challengers like David Benavidez.
I understand the money grab. I understand it's about the bag. Crawford ain't 26. Another major network is saying they packing their bags up. You will see a lot of desperate moves jumping off. You will see a lot of very unrealistic, unorthodox, crazy thinking, crazy gossip.
Being that you're obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Heard it.
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting
Crawford
this confirmation here
Canelo.
first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up, pound for pound, the best in the world.
Despite the criticism of his recent opponents, Canelo Alvarez has continued to sell out every arena he fights in, no matter who he's facing. The same is expected for his much-anticipated bout against Terence Crawford later this year, with everything pointing toward the fight happening on September 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. However, it's unlikely Canelo will stay out of action until then. Boxing Scene recently revealed that 4 fight dates have been reserved on the Las Vegas Strip: March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd. The May 3rd date, in particular, remains a mystery for now.
Crawford, he's a great fighter, and I always say that, no disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy, the people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which...
The May 3rd date is definitely one to watch for Canelo Alvarez, as he's fought during the Cinco de Mayo weekend every year since 2019, except for 2020. 3 of those 5 fights were at the T-Mobile Arena, so it's easy to see the connection. However, it's not a done deal yet, especially with a big fight against Terence Crawford on the horizon. Alvarez might choose to take more time off to stay fresh for that bout, as he's known to avoid taking long breaks. As for his potential opponent, William Skull, the IBF super middleweight champion, seems to be the leading candidate. Skull has reportedly been in discussions with Canelo's team since the start of the year.
Big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit